terms of where we have, how much we have moved, in terms of how far we have gone in the last 20 years, I must come to the conclusion, after 22 years, that the current generation of public sector leaders collectively have failed us. Why we have slept in the past 20-25 years is precisely a function of leadership. In this case, failed public sector leadership. Collectively, our nation's best policymakers, our nation's public sector leaders, and the governance models that they employ have brought us to where we are today. Far behind in terms of economic growth relative to our neighbors, and sadly, in chronic political crisis. Only. But in the same vein, I could not go to the opposition. Because in 2001, I was part of Edsa. I had asked for the previous leadership to resign. How can I then, 5 or 6 years later, because I had to win in an election, set that aside and say, saka na muna ang paninindigan at prinsipyo, kailangan muna manalo. I could not do that. I could not explain that to my children, and I could not explain that to myself. If I cannot be true to myself, how can I be true to the people I wish to serve? I believe, and what happened is that despite the lack of a national political machinery, we were able to make our message heard. And we ended up number 5 as an independent. But the real story there is that I was trying, and this is to share finally before I end, I was trying my darnest best to present an alternative to both the administration and the traditional political opposition. I was trying my darnest best to convince, at that point, Senators Arroyo, Senator Recto, Senator Aquino, Senator Villar, and myself to form a third force, an independent bloc, an alternative to both the administration and the traditional political opposition. It is my premise and my belief that precisely we remain in a political stalemate between the administration and the opposition is because GMA is not weak, the administration is not too weak to fall, but then the traditional political opposition is not too weak to win, it's not too strong to win. They both represent the past. They both do not give us reasons to be optimistic about the future. And that is precisely why we have the political statement. The challenge to political leadership is to provide alternatives, is to provide a vehicle within which people can rally, can move forward, can move towards and rally around. And that, I believe, is the challenge today as we see the ZTE-NBN deal, as we see the continuing political crisis, economic crisis that we confront. The function of leadership to provide direction. If I had joined either the opposition or the administration in the last election, I would have been perpetuating that mindset, that it does not matter what you stand for, what matters is that you win. And that is the politics as usual mindset that we must end it by action, by purposeful action, by collective, if I may bound the term, communal action. So the challenge to us, even in the legislature and in politics as a whole, is how do we present a new force, a genuine alternative to politics as usual? How do we present a viable alternative to the current crop that presents itself as choices for our people? This is the challenge. After 22 years of Edsa, we are still in the same rut, not worse. We have not moved forward. I don't think that the people are Filipinos are so lacking in imagination and creativity that we have failed to solve problems 20 years after. What we lack is leadership with vision, leadership that is willing to walk the talk, leadership that is willing to take risks, leadership that will be bold, that will have conviction and have principle. Being supported by an enlightened, vigilant, and determined people. These two factors, or these two elements combined, I can see the next generation of public sector leadership in our country in the next 20 years will be truly much better than where we are today. As far as I'm concerned, time is running out. And we have to act. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Senator Pangilinan.